This is a great Chen game that Kuro played just the other day at the Leipzig Major, and it really shows the awesome power of Centaurs against a lineup that is lacking in AoE damage.
My holiness deepens.
Welcome to the Church of Obelis. They're trying to contest the runes right now, but they don't have any stuns, so all they can do is just right click this Venge, and she gets the rune, which is a bit unfortunate, but at least they get to put some damage on her. And we see this lineup that the Radiant have, the TNC have, is quite low on disables and quite low on AoE damage. This Venge has a very minor amount of AoE damage, a little bit of AoE damage from Abba from his shields, a little bit of AoE damage from Husker with his Inner Fire. Drow kind of sort of has AoE damage with multi-shot. It's not truly AoE, it just hits the first target. And then the only one who has really a lot of AoE damage is Venomancer, but his problem is that his AoE is slow. It's all damage over time, and it can't kill off your creeps quickly in team fights. And so we're going to see how Kuro is able to do a lot on Chen in this game. See a Trident top here, which is kind of favoring TNC. Venomancer is just a really good hero in these sort of sustained fights. They also have a headdress on this Venge to go up against Kuro's headdress. Venge also, of course, a hero that's very strong with the Helm of Dominator. And Venge now teleporting down here to help out this Drow. I'm not sure if that was a wise decision, because now this dual lane can be run as. And I feel like with the try was this try, they would have come on top with on TNC. Also, this Vegetation doesn't really get anything here. Like, Drow range is fine being one-on-one against Omni-Knight. So I'm not sure if this is a wise decision, but that's what they're going with. And now, of course, they have this Tiny who can toss people back with his boosted speed, and then maybe can get a kill at least once Slark gets his level in pounds. This camp is blocked, so Kuro is getting a Sentry Ward to deal with this. This is the perfect place for the Sentry Ward. It covers the entire spawn box here, and it even can find wards that are placed up here. Sometimes people will place a ward here to get vision behind the towers. And now Chen has picked up this set of Banisher, and they're going to slow down his Venomancer and get the kill. This Abaddon also, he has another Mango, but has no Aphonic Shield, so they can just run him down. And of course this set of Banisher helps her a lot. It has pretty strong slow, which is a 50% slow at the start, and then gradually decreases to 10% slow over the course of 5 seconds. This is a creep that's quite strong in this lane. It can dispel the Abaddon shield, it can dispel the Venomous Gale and the Poison Sting from Venomancer. So this is quite a strong creep against this particular lane. It's one of those creeps that is very situational. In some lanes this is just a mediocre slow, in other lanes this is amazing with the slow plus the strong disable here. Another tossback here on this Abba, and he waits for the shield to come out and then he purchases it. That's very nicely done here from Kuro, and they get the kill very easily. Problem with the set of Banisher is he runs out of mana quite quickly, so this costs 120 mana, so it has a strong mana pool, 500 mana pool, but of course it takes forever to regen to get extra purges. So once this creep is out of mana, it becomes pretty useless, so you're better off than just taking a new creep. See some nice stacking action going on for Kuro. It's very important to give this Slark some solo XP. For Slark it's very important to get to level 6 quickly, because then you get this Shadow Dance, which allows you just to sustain and farm a lot more easily. Kuro, of course, also wants XP on his Chen, but at the start it's more important to enable this Slark. And then once Slark has a couple of levels, Slark can actually go and jungle for a bit and allow Chen to catch up a bit on levels. Right now, of course, this Venomancer, he is also farming this camp. He's decided to forgo Venomous Gale entirely and just go for this Ward Poison Sting build. They're going in again, and this Venomancer, problem with him is just he's very vulnerable to being killed. He has a good amount of damage over time, and he can sort of out harass this Chen. Also, of course, his Poison Sting reduces healing or regen, so that's kind of a counter against the regen provided by Chen. Venomancer is just vulnerable to being killed. If you just run at him and kill him, you can often win the lane against him. Race for the runes here. Tries to slow down this Abba. There's no more mana here, and he at least denies the rune. That's very nicely done from Kuro. He could have taken here the Hill Troll Priest, which is a very strong creep. Could have used that to heal up the Slag. This priest creep has very strong heal. Also has this nice mana regen aura. This is one of the strongest creeps in the early game. Of course, has little offensive potential, but it's great for sustaining lane, and will greatly help out this Slag against this Venomancer. But as it is, Slag will just TP home to base, pick up an item here, and then be recalled by Chen. It's one of the great things about having a Chen in your lane. You can always just TP home and have Chen recall you. So Slag now fully healed again, and can now very easily get his level 6 thanks to all the healing he got from the fountain. Kuro is doing some stacking here. Very important to remember to do that. If you have heroes that can clear those stacks, you have Slag who, thanks to his Dark Pact, can do these stacks reasonably well. Also, of course, means there's additional creeps to choose from for Chen. So always important to keep those stacks up. And of course, OD also is not that bad at clearing stacks. Kuro here invading the enemy jungle, and he's going to block these two camps with his creeps, and thereby slow down the Venomancer's farm. Venomancer now wants to go here and clear those camps, but he can't. It's the only camp he can actually take, and this camp is very far away from the tower, so it's not easy for him to take that. Of course, these wards are very annoying. They give you a decent amount of XP, 30 XP, but almost no gold, only 14 to 17, so it's more for the XP than for the gold. I have a very nice Harpy here, and Kuro pinked it out, says I want to have that Harpy. Harpy is very strong, obviously, thanks to her Chain Lightning. Also offers you full night vision, which in this game is a little bit less important because you have Slag on the team who also has full night vision. But just in general, this Harpy is a very strong creep. And it's not just a creep that's good in the early game, also just in the mid game, and even in the late game she's decent. And right now, Chen is just giving this lane. It's already 9 minutes and you only have level 4 Chen. That's not good enough. You want definitely have at least level 5 at this point, so they have to give Chen some XP. And meanwhile, Slag is going to go and do some jungle camps. Slag is level 8 now. He has some reasonable items here, and this is good enough to do some jungling and get about as much farm here in the jungle as he would on lane, and this will allow Chen to catch up a bit in levels. They don't have vision over most of the enemies, so Chen is sort of sitting back here. He's sitting close to the tower, also has his Harpy here to protect him, give him extra vision. He's going to try to go for these bounty runes here, but they're already gone. At least they can go for the outpost. Together with Miracle channeling here together and take the outpost. Being careful here with the courier, that's Miracle's courier, not to get them sniped by these plague wards, because earlier I already had a courier being sniped by those wards. And just like that, Slag's gonna leave again, just gonna do some more channel camps and leave Chen here sitting in the lane to get his level 7. You might be looking at the score right now and see it's 0-7 and think, okay, this is just an easy stomp for Nigma. But if you look at the gold, it's actually fairly even. It's these kills in the early game are deceiving. Early game kills just don't give you very much unless they also keep the enemy from farming. But if you just like rotate around with this tiny and get a kill here and there, it's not actually that impactful. So even though they have these 7 kills, this is pretty much a dead even game right now. Kuro has double Harpies now, and you never should underestimate those Harpies. Those Harpies actually do a lot of damage with their Chain Lightning. Even at this stage of the game, this damage is still very, very relevant. Like, this only has a cooldown of 4 seconds, and if you use 3 Chain Lightning on each Harpy, that's 140 damage times 6. That's, what is it, 840 damage. That's a lot of single target damage over a course of just about 8 seconds. And we also, of course, have to take into account the jump damage, and all taken together, that's more than 2000 damage if you hit 4 targets with each Chain Lightning. That's an immense amount of magic damage just from these 2 creeps. Never underestimate that. Right now they're playing against this Husker with an Aegis, so the plan for them right now is just to split the map, avoid direct fights, and maybe take a tower here, or maybe pressure this tower down here, and just concede those towers at the top lane. You don't want to have some sort of 5 versus 5 fight. Mind Control is kind of sacked in this game. He's far behind here in net worth. You see he's actually behind the position 5 Chen. So he's just trying to catch up a little bit here, doing some farming on his own. And meanwhile, Nigma just waiting to see if someone wants to defend this tower. And if someone TPs here to defend this tower, they can easily get a kill. But no one bites. They're setting up on this Venomancer here. They know Venomancer's down here somewhere. Get the stun here, toss back. And that is an easy kill thanks to those chain lightnings. And in the meantime, Tiny managed to TP back and save his life, and is now well on his way to his Blink Dagger. Also so much farming going on from Chen. These are kind of creeps that the other heroes in his team right now can't farm, but he has a solid team of 4 creeps thanks to the early level 7 he could get, thanks to the lane that was left for him. And right now he's kind of not using his creeps. So far he's been playing really well, but that's kind of an oversight. Maybe he's just busy doing captain stuff. But yeah, we definitely take out another creep camp at least with those creeps in that time. Because these creeps, even when you're not nearby, they still have a lot of bonus damage. So these creeps can easily clear out a camp or 2 in that time. Right now, the TNC team is posturing at this tier 2 tower. They're using this siege creep to push, and fortification being used to take out the siege creep. Very smart. You get the siege creep, but this tower is not going to be easy to defend. Even so, because they just have this Husker with his Aegis and his Sange. This is a very strong timing for this Husker. More splitting going on. We see Miracle going down here in the mid. This is a very important tower, of course, to take. This tower is what controls Roshan, so taking that out is a huge boon. It just opens up the map enormously, and you're fine giving up this top tier 2 tower in exchange. But now they're starting to pressure high ground, and at this point you sort of have to respond. And very smartly, Kuro keeping his creeps back, just using his harpies a bit for chain lightnings, and of course also for vision. And Slark is now going in there, so it's tiny, but the good thing for them is that there's just very little disable on this Radiant team. So that's why they can just go in and out of here, and they just want to buy time for this Aegis to run out. This Aegis is not going to last very much longer, and when it does time out, they can take this fight, but not before. And you see this Aegis just running out, and with that TNC back out. And right now we have a 2k lead for Nigma, thanks to all the 5-manning that TNC did while they had the Aegis. Miracle was able to farm a lot in that time, and is now solidly at the top of the net worth. He even has a broom hand in this backpack. Also has a sentry ward here that Kuro gave him. It's always very good to have a sentry ward with you over your Slark, because you always know where the wards are, so you can just do your dewarding yourself. See another smoke here, and they see Dragon Ranger here. They know that Venomancer is nearby, so they're posturing up for this fight. They know the Aegis is gone, and they're just quite strong at this stage of the game. They don't Trowers here, so you're going to try and go on her. Also have a double damage on Slark, so Huskar's being gone on here. He gets tossed up, he gets banished. Centaurs coming in. Fortunately, this one time it didn't get off Stomp because of this pushback from Inner Fire, but this is a really nice fight nonetheless. And there's just not enough control here on this lineup from TNC. They get some really nice stomps off here, taking advantage of this short stomp cooldown. This cooldown used to be a lot longer, now it's only 12 seconds, so you can get off multiple stomps in the same fight. And you can see all the healing from Mech These creeps are not really dying here, even though they're in the brunt of the fight. He only lost one harpy, that's all he lost in this fight. So a fight here going on over this outpost, 20-minute mark is coming up, and recall here on the OD, and OD unfortunately does not pick up the bounty, which he could have done, but he destroys the fight here and drops the hammer, and this is a very easily won fight here. There's some very nice stomping here coming out of Chen, and that just feels so good when you can pull off these chain stomps with your Centaurs as Chen. And of course you're playing it together with this OD who has the perfect setup for these stomps. So this is a game where it's fairly easy to get off these stomps, and you can just see the power of Chen in a game like this. Smoke being used, and now they're going to push the middle tower. After these 2-1 team fights, Nigma are far ahead, so they can just go and play very freely. And see Miracle just hitting this Abba, even though it has ultimate on. This just means more stacks for Miracle, and now they can easily push this tier 2 tower. Or what they can do is just jump in here. See nice blink in here, toss back, and the reason they can do this is because they have toss obviously, and because there's just not very little disable here on the TNC team. Normally you would not want to do these kinds of dives, but in this game it's fine. Another toss back attempt, not quite successful here, but this Huskar is getting very, very low, and down he goes. And see that Kuro here is very careful with his Centaurs. He doesn't just run them in here, doesn't want them to die very easily. He does not really want to be part of this diving. He can't really do that much as Chen in these kinds of dives. So instead he's just going to sit back here, he's going to hit the tower now, and with 4 people dead, this is GG, and this was a very nice game of Kuro's Chen, and a very one-sided stomp, 1-25, but if you look at the net worth, it was actually very even for a long period of time. So this is just a nice example of how much you can do as Chen if you're playing against the right lineup, and you can just use those Centaurs to the full advantage. If you want to see more Chen content, join the fold by subscribing and ringing the bell. And before you go, watch this video specifically curated for you by Obelisk himself, and Obelisk willing, I'll see you there.